Welcome to the Handheld Chronicles. This is a gaming podcast where my co-host and I take some time to play a handheld game and then we share our thoughts. My name is Jameson and I'm joined with
Evan.
And today we'll be going over LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga for the DS. But first, how you doing, my man? What are you playing through right now?
At the moment, we're doing the Minish Cap.
Oh, nice.
So I'm excited. I've beaten the first two temples. And we're excited to probably do that in a later episode, whenever we're both able to finish that, or if you ever plan to start that game. Don't remember if you've played the Minish Cap or not, Jameson.
I did start it, but I didn't ever beat it, so it's on my list of things to go back to for sure. So, alrighty. Well, are we ready to go?
Yeah, of course.
Alright.
Overview.
LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga is an action-adventure platformer game released in 2007. It follows the events of the 6 original Star Wars movies, with the player controlling LEGO versions of the characters from the movies in order to complete the levels. I mean, it's like your standard LEGO game. If you don't know what a LEGO game is, it might be a little bit difficult, but I think it's safe to say that the formula of a LEGO game is pretty well known, right?
Yeah, things I'd comment about it. It came out in 2007, so at time of recording, it's roughly 20 years old. And I think it's pushing great for that view. Nice things to note, or I guess qualms I'd probably say. They did release the original trilogy, so that'd be episodes 4, 5, and 6, as a separate game on the DS back in, I think it's 2002. And they didn't release the prequels, episodes 1, 2, and 3. It was just a Game Boy Advance game, and then they ported them together. So they did the complete saga with all 6 episodes.
Gameplay.
I think, first main thing that I think is a good addition would be definitely having the ability to change your character like you would in free play in the story mode levels, if that makes sense.
Yeah, being able to just freely switch instead of trying to run over, hunt down the character you're switching into. And I originally played it on the Wii, so I know it as pushing the C button on the nunchuck. Can vary depending upon whatever game you're originally played the LEGO Star Wars Complete Saga on. But on the DS, that is a quality of life feature I love. The other feature about the gameplay that I thoroughly enjoy is the little mini games on the droid panels. On the original Wii version, there isn't a mini game you play when you use the droid panel. It does the thing. You push the button, little animation plays, door unlocks. For the LEGO DS game, there's a little mini game, happens every time you do one of those little codes. Sort of like in the new LEGO Skywalker Saga, where you use the control panel and you have to do this little mini game. And I thought that was a nice little touch for the DS version. It allows you to use the stylus more and creates a fun feel when you're playing it.
Okay, interesting. Well, for those who aren't familiar, basically there are 4 different types of panels. You've got the astromech panel, the protocol droid panels, the bounty hunter panels, and the stormtrooper panels. And each one has their own unique minigame that you would take a pause from the main game and pull out your stylus to. There is a small memory game. There's also one where you just spin a little wheel to match up which icon is shown on the top screen. You've got 2 small icons will drop down and you have to tap the one that is shown above. And lastly, there's one where it gives you a grid of a 3x6 of icons and you just tap all of one icon in order to move to the next one. And based on how fast you're able to do it, you get rewards and studs. So, yeah, definitely encouragement to perform better at them. There's also, I don't know if you ever noticed, but it only has you do the minigame if it's not a main panel. Like, if you're going through the story mode and it requires you to use the protocol droid, it won't have you do the minigame. But if it's a side room that has just like a mini kit or something, it will have you do it. So
I did not notice that when I was playing through the game. I just was like, oh, it's a cool little mini game. This is fun. And it's my first time going through the DS version of the LEGO Star Wars games, and I I found that really fun, just having a little break to do those little mini games.
Interesting. I honestly wasn't a huge fan of it. It felt like it was taking too much away from the main game, and like it felt like it was forcing the touch controls onto me, whereas the only other time you have the option to use touch controls would be when you're using the Force. You have the option to either hold down the A button to use the Force, or you could swipe a certain direction on the screen in order for it to do it much faster. And yeah, it was like completely optional, but I would opt to doing the stylus touch controls for it since it was significantly faster. So
Yeah, I think because they're designing it and building it specifically for the DS, and the DS has that touch screen in comparison to like the PSP or the PS Vita, but since it was designed for the Nintendo DS, a big feature of the DS is that stylus and is that touch screen.
for sure.
So could it be a little bit annoying during the gameplay, pausing while you're looking on a side quest, trying to pick up a mini kit or two? Using that stylus to be able to control it shows that they had a thought in mind. It wasn't just like a shameless port to the system for the sake of putting it on the DS, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Lots of games will just be like, we put it over here, and they didn't actively think to try to incorporate some details of that new console into it.
It's definitely one of the better uses of the touchscreen. Like, there's a lot of games on the DS where it gives you just such needless additions for the touchscreen just because it's on the DS and they're like, you have to use it. But there's also some games that just don't use the touchscreen at all, and it's a good mix of not required, but also a good addition in a way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a great addition to have. The games that are able to make use of the touchscreen to the fullest are phenomenal games. I instantly think to The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask on the DS, where your inventory and the menu is just permanently on that lower screen while you're playing the game. So it allows you to not take breaks from the gameplay to just quickly switch your items out or to use specific tools.
I don't know if you actually got any of these, but some of the red bricks in the levels will unlock other mini games for the hub world. Did you ever get any of those?
I was not. So I was able to get through the main story of episodes 1, 2, and 3, and then I tried to do some mini kit collecting and just some extra side stuff during the beginning, and comparing how it played to the Wii version of the game, which is, again, what I was used to playing, and seeing, oh, what's different, what do I like about the DS qualities and what's not. So I was not able to unlock some of the hub things in the DS version.
Yeah. The addition of the minigames, honestly, is one of my favorite features, like especially growing up with the game, where I would be able to just pick it up, walk into one of the extra room where the minigames were, and one of them is like a pit stop for a pod racer where Anakin comes in on his pod racer and you just have to do all the maintenance before he goes back out. Just cute little things like that. There's also one where you're General Grievous in his wheel vehicle.
The wheel motorcycle
Yeah.
bike that nobody ever really talks about, but it exists. It's
and
there.
you like are just in a weird cylinder. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like one of those Sonic minigames where you're just rolling around through it and just avoiding obstacles. Like, just little things like that are just completely... I don't know, it's a little disappointing that they're locked behind red bricks sometimes, because I feel like those should benefit your actual gameplay, but they were still fun enough that I did enjoy them. And they're also pretty cheap to purchase from the shop. I think they're only like 30,000 studs for the most part.
Yeah.
So.
I think adding those little mini games adds a whole lot to the replayability of this game, you know? Most of the time, you're playing these Lego games and you just have the main story on the DS ports. There's not a whole lot to do outside of that main story. You replay the same levels over and over and over again. And having that ability to take a break and, you know, go to this hub world and go experience all these fun little mini games, play it with a different play style than the regular levels that you'd run into, I think increase its replayability.
For sure. We need to talk about the vehicle levels, though, because these are very interesting and
They
different.
are. They're significantly different. It's a top-down view instead of what I'd call an isometric view on the original game. So you're looking top down, and you're just moving your character side to side and a bit of up and forward. I don't believe you're able to cross between the two screens on the vehicle levels.
It's taking up both the top and the bottom screen.
Yeah.
So you'll see some like asteroid or something come in from the top screen and your vehicle's on the bottom screen, and then you'll see it coming down at you later on. It's very cool, especially how it like takes into account the small space in between the original
the two screens
DS.
where it's got that hinge.
Yes. Levels like the pod race, the asteroid field, and gunship cavalry will use this, and if you hit the A button, you do U-turn basically, and then you're on the top screen and you're going the opposite direction.
Yeah.
So if you miss something, you're able to easily go
Turn
back.
back
It doesn't
around,
tell
grab
you
it.
that, but it is a nice little feature.
Yeah, I really want to go back and finish doing the main story and replaying all of this.
As far as, going back to the vehicle
Vehicle
levels,
levels. Yep.
there's no free play for them, which is a little odd. You are stuck to the one vehicle that is designated for that level, which isn't bad, but then there's also every other level, and for whatever reason in this game, you have to get the True Jedi achievement by collecting studs for a certain amount, and yeah. But you have to do that for both the story mode and the free play mode. So, it's kind of weird because of that, since you only have the one
You only have the
option.
one spaceship? Yeah. It's probably due to the limitations of the DS. I was about to say 3DS. This came on the original DS. You can play it on the 3DS like I did, but they came out on the DS. And yeah, it's probably just a limitation to the model, whereas for the minifigures and regular characters, there's less of a difference between each one of them. It's probably just the design on their shirt compared to each other versus the vehicles where they had to build a different model for each one and have different hitboxes to actually match what the vehicle looked like.
For sure, but also because of that, I don't remember the Wii version, but I think they had the gates that only TIE fighters could go through, right?
They did. You'd have gates where specific spaceships, you had to go and unlock that one to play it.
Yeah, so now you can technically, like in your first run through, collect everything, which is pretty nice, I will admit. I really like that.
It's convenient and nice.
Also with like the limitation going to like the story mode, in certain levels, like let's take negotiations for example, the first level you're required to do, everything else is locked until you beat it.
Yeah.
In the original Wii or GameCube version,
Yep.
you have Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then the protocol droid, but I'm assuming it's because of the limitations of the DS. It only gives you the two characters, and then you just use the touchscreen or the bumpers in order to switch, which is like the whole free play kind of thing, which does kind of make some of the puzzles useless. Like, I was playing through the one level on Endor where you have to build a ramp for R2-D2 to wheel up and use the panel to open the door, but if you just go with another character, jump over, switch back to R2, you don't ever have to build the ramp. So
Yeah, I'm very sure the limitation for only having two characters on screen at a time is due to the DS. I'm thinking, again, you're mentioning that Endor level. I remember playing it, and you'd have to collect all 6 of your characters and put them on little pressure pads.
yes, that's right. I forgot about that. But
And so I'm like, in the DS, when you're only having 2 characters, you're probably not going to be able to do those puzzles, and it probably is able to save some time and storage on the system. We haven't mentioned that yet, but the gameplay on this is phenomenal. It feels exactly like the Wii and the GameCube version of this. The graphics, they're not as good as what you'd see on a big screen or anything like that, but the energy and skill and the looks of this game, it's phenomenal what they were able to do and make it all fit. You've got all 6 episodes of Star Wars, and you've got 4 or 5 different missions per level.
yeah, 5.
Plus mini games included. What else can you ask for as a child?
Definitely impressive.
On your road trip, it's a great thing to just be playing.
I love it because it makes a lot of the levels a lot easier to get through, and I don't know, sometimes trying to build up that ramp for R2 in the original version, and you're just getting
Shot at
repeatedly all the time, and it just was so annoying. But now it's just so much easier, which I love, but at the same time it also makes the second player really irrelevant because odds are you're going to have another character who's basically the same. Like, you could have 2 Jedi and you only need 1. You could have 2 blasters and you only need 1. So you're able to just cruise through the whole game basically solo and leave the second person behind, unless there's like 2 levers you have to pull at the same time or 2 buttons. But I don't know, not a bad change, but
It's not. Because it's only a one-player game. I know it does have some local co-ops you can get into, but it's mostly just that one-player game, which I think is what it's going for. It's making the advantages and the sacrifices to make this the best one-player experience that it can be. And I don't think the target market was, people of our age. It's, again, for those younger kids, A DS isn't for your child at college. It's for the 6 or 7-year-old still at home to give it to them while they're on a car ride.
But even with like it being targeted towards little kids,
It's
I don't
so
know
good.
how much like collecting you tried to go for, but some of the red bricks and mini kits are in the most ridiculous locations. Like I remember growing up, the Escape from Theater or whatever that.
The one mini kit floating up there where you have to like force all the blocks on top of each other and then get like a guy with a jetpack and somebody who can jump up super high and grab it.
Well, I don't know about
You
that.
don't know that one? Okay, never mind. Don't worry about
The
it.
red brick in this level took me forever to find, and at this time you didn't have like the same access you do now where you can just look it up. So I would spend hours just replaying, scouring every inch of this level, and it didn't work. Turns out you just have to jump off the ledge in the most random spot, and then there's a random balcony. There's no indication. Like usually you'll have some sort of like grappling hook over the edge, so it's like, oh hey, there's something down there, you should try to jump down. But no, there's nothing. Once you jump down, you have to jump from that balcony and make your way all the way back up again. So it is just ridiculously stupid to find, and ever since then I have not forgotten where it is since. So I mean, maybe that's a good thing on their part. Like, it's memorable because of how ridiculous it is, but there were still many levels where I would get 8 out of 10 mini kits, and I'd just be like, holy crap, like...
Where are the other 2 hiding? Where are you?
I went through every room I could find, I forced everything that I could, broke every piece of thing, and we also got the mini kits that are requiring 3 different collectibles to find. Did you...
I ran into at least one of those. I don't know. I'm a collector at heart. I play video games and I'll hit all the side quests before I move on to the main story. It makes me way too overpowered for way too many games, but it's the way I enjoy them. I personally like, hunting down 3 little pieces, but I can 100% see where it's a little bit infuriating where like I did this huge puzzle. It took me like 15-20 minutes and then you only get a third of a mini kit.
Yeah. I like the idea, but there's just little problems that it has. Like, if you only collect 2 out of the 3, it doesn't carry over. You have to play the level all over again and find all 3 of them, and I think they're always just hiding inside breakable objects, but sometimes they're locked behind doors that you have to have some panel requirement. Like, you need a stormtrooper or you need a bounty hunter, which are not the easiest to get a hold of. I mean, stormtrooper, yes, but bounty hunters are a bit harder to get.
They're more difficult. Yeah, it's probably more incentivizing for the free play to be going and collecting all this. And free play at the beginning of the game, once you've unlocked, your basic 5 types of characters, and I don't even think you get that far. Like the first bounty hunter you unlock, I don't think you get it till episode 5, where it's Princess Leia dressed up as a bounty hunter in the main story.
Episode 6, yeah.
Oh, truth, you're
Yes.
right. Episode 6, probably level 2.
It's the first level, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because level 2's on the sand barge.
Actually, it isn't. Because I'm assuming limitations of this device, they had to cut it. So originally there's 6 levels. Mm-hmm. So instead there are either 3 levels that are cut, or 3 of them were merged with another level. I've got them written down here.
You've got the exact ones? I'm very excited to hear about this. Which ones have they merged?
Okay. Let's see. So episode 1, they completely cut the Invasion of Naboo level, where you first get Jar Jar Binks and whatever. Episode 2, they cut Bounty Hunter Pursuit, where you're going after Zam Wessel.
I remember Okay, so I've also played the Lego Star Wars games on the Xbox, but this wasn't the complete saga. It was episodes 1, 2, and 3 as one game, and episodes 4, 5, and 6 as their own. And the chase for Zam Wesell was never included. It wasn't until when I bought the complete saga for the Wii that I realized that was a level in the game. So I wonder when in production that level actually was made. Because it wasn't originally on the Xbox version.
Yeah, it was only when they brought them together for the complete saga
that it showed up.
Very interesting.
So I'd love to find out like the history of development, like when did that happen, or was it again cut content? Because I know they did a level where you'd attack the Trade Federation blockade spaceship in that episode 1 as a level, but they cut that and just put it in the bonus features.
Yeah.
So you can still play it, but you were never able to do it in the main story. It was a bonus side content.
True. And then episode 3, they cut the Chancellor in Peril level. That caught me off guard. I did the battle over Coruscant, and then it jumps you right into the General Grievous level and just cuts
I felt like
the level into cutscenes.
Yeah, I thought it was merged a little bit more than cut, where you did the spaceships crash land and then did that on the DS, but that could again just be the cutscenes that they played.
It is just the cut. Yeah.
Yeah.
They just take the main bits of the level and just
put it in the cutscenes.
We'll get to the cutscenes in
I know they
the
had
quality section.
Count Dooku they'd just be murdered in the cutscene. You didn't even do the fight. And I was like, oh, shame.
I did think it was interesting that they had the first 3 movies cut levels, and then the next 3 movies they merged levels, which was, I don't know if there was actually something there.
Any
if there was a
reason behind it? Yeah, again, as we mentioned at the very beginning of the episode, where the 4, 5, and 6 came out as a game on the DS, and I have yet to be able to find episodes 1, 2, and 3 as their own separate game on the DS. I've seen them on the Game Boy Advance, but I haven't seen them for the DS by themselves. So I think...
Yeah.
Do you think they would have just ported over the Game Boy games? I haven't played the one on the Game Boy yet. I'm more than happy to try to hunt it down and try to play it.
I looked up gameplay of the first Lego Star Wars on the Game Boy, and it looks rough. And from what I've heard, it is pretty rough. So
you don't think they just ported it over? Okay.
Unless, for whatever reason, we have to play it here, I don't have any intention of...
Don't intend of going out and playing it?
It looks bad, but...
Alrighty.
Okay, so the 3 levels that were merged, starting, we got Rescue the Princess and Death Star Escape. I feel like that one makes pretty good sense. You're going into the Death Star, and then you're going out of the Death Star.
In one episode. Yeah. Makes perfect sense why they'd combine those.
For sure. And then in the same kind of reason, they've got the Cloud City Trap and Betrayal over Bespin as the same level. So you're playing through as Princess Leia, Chewbacca, and Lando, and then you jump right into Luke. Yeah.
Going through all that? Yeah.
Then we have finally Jabba's Palace and the Great Pit of Carkoon. This one was a bit iffy for me because Jabba's Palace itself already feels like a pretty long level.
Yeah.
In general.
It's probably one of the longest to begin with. Yeah. Unless you count like one of the vehicle levels that's just timed for some reason. Where it's like, nope, you're stuck here for a good 6 minutes till the timer runs out.
Yeah, and then even the Pit of Carkoon, that's also a pretty long level. So to combine 2 long levels, it was really a drag for me personally. I don't think you got to that.
No, again, I only made it to the beginning of episode 4.
Yeah, I did the negotiations level to unlock everything else, then I jumped straight into episode 6 just so I could unlock like Darth Vader and the Bounty Hunter, Princess Leia.
Yeah. You gotta get all those characters for the free play, being able to collect everything. Probably the wise idea to go straight into episode 6.
And then I also knew beforehand that you get the invincibility extra in the Death Star blowing up at the end, the last one. So
the very last, yeah.
Yeah, that's...
It's kind of supposed to be like a penultimate challenge, or like, yeah, you get invincibility, but you can 100% just skip to that at the very beginning, and it makes your playthrough so much easier if you have invincibility.
For sure.
Probably not recommended for story mode, in my opinion. What? It's more fun to just enjoy the level. But in free play, when you're doing all these challenges, trying to collect all the mini kits, probably worth turning that invincibility on.
For sure. Um, Also, just a quick side note and a little tip: the mini games, like the pit stop with the pod racer, that is a real good way to farm studs. Like those mini games can get you a lot of crap, like 50,000 each one, and it's only like 2 minutes to beat it.
Yeah.
Like some of them are a little difficult for sure. Like if you want to actually get to the end of the General Grievous wheel one, it's a bit difficult, but if you can get it down and consistently get those studs, it makes unlocking the extras really easy.
Yeah. And it's probably a more fun way to grind studs than going into a level and just shooting things. I remember to grind studs, I'd go into episode 3, that first level.
Yes, the battle over Coruscant.
And you just hold the shoot button and you just move left to right. And you'd hit everything in your way and you'd collect as many studs as possible.
Yes, that is still a very valid way, but
I think doing mini games is a more fun. Is that the proper grammar for this?
well, you're also getting rewarded with a gold brick if you can achieve the rank of the chosen one. So there's also, you have to do it in order for 100% anyways. So you might as well practice and get it.
Might as well practice and farm the studs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But before I had unlocked the minigames, I did also just go into the pod racing level. I don't know if I'm just like cracked at it, but or if it's easier in this version, but I've never had an issue with the pod racing levels.
Yeah.
So that was my go-to.
I remember as a child struggling for hours trying to beat the pod racing level. We'd play it so much that the Xbox would overheat and crash and eject the disc, and it'd be like, no, you can't play this game. Go pick something else. And I was never able to beat the entirety of the episodes 1, 2, and 3 on the Xbox because, again, the game would just crash and we fried our system playing it.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about Lego games on like consoles, but they seem to have a lot of issues. Crash. Maybe that's just the Wii, but or you did Xbox. So
I was doing the Xbox.
Yeah.
It crashed on me, and we were never able to play the whole thing. You'd get like a good 10-20 minute session in there, and then it'd just freeze, and you'd have to restart. Still incredibly fond memories of that as a kid, but pod racing level holds a extra pit of despair for me because it broke the whole console playing it.
That is very valid. Last thing I wanted to touch on. Oh no, I still
Got a whole lot left on that script you've got there?
not like too much. These are just little notes. Okay, first off, quick and stupid. There's no Indiana Jones. What the heck? I mean, how hard would it be? Just take Han Solo, give him a hat, put on some brown, boom, you got like. Because even in the complete saga, he doesn't have his whip. It's just a gun. He's basically Han Solo. So
Yeah.
the fact that he's not here is so disappointing to me, but it's not the worst thing. I just don't understand why it wasn't there.
It's really sad because in the Indiana Jones games, they've got all the Star Wars characters, and if you find, Luke, Leia, C-3PO, and R2-D2, and Han Solo, you unlock Han Solo as a playable character to run through.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, them not having Indiana Jones is a big oops on the DS version of.
And a little spoiler for Lego Indiana Jones on the DS, there's no Han Solo either.
Come on, guys, what are you doing? What?
I don't know. Like, I hardly doubt it was for some legal reason, but it's just very baffling. I don't know if they have the actual like Star Wars character cameos though, because this Star Wars didn't have any like Indiana Jones cameos. It was just Indiana Jones. So.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I just want to talk about the left to right aspect of it. It's not like a corridor,
Yeah.
Like, you got negotiations where it starts off, you're going straight down the hallway for a majority of it.
Mm-hmm.
But in here, in like most every level of this game, it's all like a left to right kind of thing.
Yeah, I did notice that, especially on the, it's the Mustafar Duel. I think they just call it Darth Vader in the game. That's the level. You're traveling left to right over the falling platforms, whereas in the console version, you're traveling towards the screen. And I'm probably assuming it's just due to perspective limitations on the
Yeah, I'm guessing they
on
couldn't
the DS.
like
You can't.
load in
It's very
all-
hard.
everything in the distance without it looking really weird.
Yeah, and like having your character move that way, it's probably more difficult because you'd have to animate them shrinking down, not a whole lot, but just enough so that they get far enough away before the camera starts to move in that direction.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I get why they had to do it, but it's not my favorite change. But you do what you gotta do.
You do what you
So,
gotta do,
it
and
works.
there's still fun levels to do anything.
That's true. Yes.
And it means you can't transfer all your information and skills immediately over to this. It's slightly different. That you have to, put in a little bit of effort.
Yes, for sure.
Quality.
The cutscenes.
Cutscenes. Oh man, they're rough to look at. You can tell that most aspects and figures in this game are just a 3D object that they then put a decal or a sticker of Lego bricks on. It's not actually modeled to look like a Lego brick. It's just like it's a sticker with a Lego brick studs on it. Imagine they're there, please.
We're talking the cutscenes or like the actual game itself.
Bit of both.
Okay.
Because you'll run into it. If it's a important model, they put high in the foreground. They'll include studs on that. But most of the time, they'll shave those off and just pretend they didn't exist. They'll just look at the lovely sticker of where the anti-studs of these Legos should be.
Yes, just a flat surface. I really thought the cutscenes looked just like some cardboard cutouts. They're very stiff.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
probably 10 frames per second. What we talking here?
it's bad.
it's bad.
I think it was the Jabba's Palace level where Princess Leia puts like her hands on her hips and you can see the arms like clipping through her body. It's like, oh my gosh, it's bad.
Yeah. Some of the scenes, they just stand there and they slowly move. Again, to that puppet aspect of like, we're going to take this arm and rotate it and put it back.
And even like some of the music, I don't know if you had like audio when you were playing, but like it just didn't fit. I don't know if that's the same for the Wii version, but it definitely seemed like some of the music choices, like you'd have Darth Vader coming in, episode 6 on his ship, and it's like menacing or whatever, then it cuts over, and the music just suddenly changes to something from episode 1 or something. It's like, what the heck? Like, it doesn't fit whatsoever.
Can we have a slightly consistent sound design? It being there, they probably picked, again, I'd say, the 10 big motifs that you'd need. Now, you got your Imperial March, you've got your Cantina Band, I want to say you've got Across the Stars, but I'm very confident they would not include that.
Yeah.
You've got the Attack of the Clones March. You've got the basic themes that you'd have running around, and they just switch to whatever one feels the best in the moment, even if it's not the right one for that moment.
Yeah.
No, got the good guys on screen. We're playing the main good guy theme. Got the bad guys on scene. Got to play the Imperial March.
Yeah.
It's the duality that they get that to have.
I mean, as long as you like played and are familiar with the original cutscenes, you don't have to pay much attention. But if this is your introduction to Lego Star Wars or even Star Wars in general, you're not gonna know what's going on.
Talking as an introduction to Star Wars, probably back in the day, back in 2007 when this originally came out, it probably was an introduction to Star Wars to a lot of little kids.
Mm-hmm.
Today, this is a collector's thing that, again, college students are going out and buying and playing this. I'm not going to give this to my 6-year-old brother who's to play Let Him See Star Wars. He's got Disney Plus. He'll pull it up and watch it when he's ready. But yeah,
Fair enough.
you're probably right. It wasn't the best introduction to Star Wars at this time, but Star Wars came out. Quick Google. I'm gonna say.
Don't know. A New Hope, 1977.
Dang. I was gonna go with 89, and I was like,
Whoa.
that's definitely not it. What's the actual time? Quick Googles. Speaking of which, when did Revenge of the Sith come out?
Revenge of the Sith or Phantom Menace?
Revenge of the Sith, the third one.
I don't know.
Because that's when they're basing all these games off. I feel like
That's true, yeah.
I feel like it came out when the GBA, the Game Boy Advanced version of this game came out. But that's a worthy Google. 2005, so it's the 20th year anniversary. So man, this thing came 2 years after the making of that movie, and they had to build levels for that, for the third Star Wars movie.
Mm-hmm.
They probably did a fantastic job. 2 years? That feels like rush development to do.
Could be, yeah.
And again, they released the Game Boy Advanced version of this game
That's true.
way before. So they probably did a year on the Game Boy Advance and then a year for the DS. Yeah, they did a phenomenal job with what I consider a very minimal amount of time to program this. Granted, could have been doing it for years to make all the other episodes, but 2 years to do Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah. How did you like the character models themselves?
They're fuzzy at the best of times. They look good and they immediately make you think of, like, they're recognizable, they're iconic. But, you know, you rotate the character just the wrong degree and it just...
Yeah.
The pixels just change and warp just a little so it looks blurry and unfuzzy.
Yeah, most of them are, like, passable, but I remember, I haven't unlocked him in this save file yet, but Ghost, Anakin Skywalker, I believe, or maybe it was Obi-Wan, but, like, their whole body looks like the Ghost version or whatever,
Yeah.
but their hairpiece is just a solid blue, and it looks horrendous. And it's just little things like that, like Darth Vader, when you get him and you play as him, his head looks kind of squished for some reason, like it's not the right shape, and I get that it's probably hard, and like some characters like the IG-88 or whatever, he looks great, but
Yeah.
it's just these, every now and then you get a character where you look at him and are like, oh my gosh, like,
There's too much detail on this model for them to accurately
yes, that's fair, but
portray it. But yeah, the models look, again, it's almost a 20-year-old video game at this point in time.
mm-hmm.
It still looks great.
For sure,
Like,
they're recognizable.
They're
but-
recognizable, you can tell they're Lego, you can tell exactly which character they are and which ones they're representing. I feel like they did a great job. Not to mention, they've got character customization in this game.
That is true, yes.
That you can design your own character to look however you want and just play with it. And, you know, you can tell exactly what you designed.
Yeah.
You know, you can see, like, oh yeah, I used the Jedi Cloak robe t-shirt. I can see that on the character. So I think they did a great job on the characters, even if half the time they look a little rough.
Yeah. I've played quite a few of the Lego games on the DS, and they all honestly have, like, the same... Like, it's completely unique, but just for the DS games, where they have the same kind of look to them. Like, I don't know, maybe you know what I'm talking about, but...
Yeah, I've played through the whole Batman games on the DS. Those are my first Lego games on the DS that I played. And, yeah, they do have that quality where all the characters... Right, they do have that where they look strikingly similar to each other.
It's very weird, like, that they were so consistent with how off they look. But I love it because of it.
It's like, this is not quite right, but it's all the same not quite right. So they look great together.
Yeah, honestly, that is exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I would include this for, like, quality
Mm-hmm.
that they had, or gameplay, but you can only have one stud multiplier at a time. Maybe that's for the limitations of the device, but at the same time, it's just another multiple. I don't know why you couldn't have 2 and 8 to make, 2 and 8 to make 16 or whatever. The highest you could get is 10, which is, it's good, but if you're wanting to buy all the ghosts, all the red bricks, it's not the best.
It's more of a grind. Yeah, I don't know if that's a limitation that they're imposing via programming or just manually saying, no, you can only have one multiplier. I know in the Skywalker Saga, they've got where you can have all the multipliers on at the same time. And I just feel like that inflates the prices of everything.
I feel like every Lego game you're able to have multiple, but
Yeah, you can have multiple turned on. I'm not as big of a fan of having all of them turned down at once. It minimizes the efforts to get true Jedi. Sometimes I will actively turn off my stud multipliers when I'm going for true Jedi in the Lego games because, if you have all of them on, you pick up one silver stud, the lowest of the currencies, and it's just like, bam! You're a true Jedi. You picked up $1.
Then you can focus more on the mini kits and stuff and not have to worry about collecting every little stud. I think it was the Endor level that I was playing, and I was so freaking close to true Jedi. Like, all of the bars were the same color, so you knew I was just a few studs away. I had to go back to the very start of the level, and I couldn't get it. It was very frustrating.
Yeah. I could see the frustrations, but again, I personally prefer having less of the stud multipliers on at a time. I know it's a hot take. I know some people will be like, "Oh, Sinner, get him! You can't be doing this. You gotta have all the multipliers on at once. Gotta combo into infinity. It's the important way to play games." But sometimes having a little bit of a challenge is nice. I like it.
Yeah.
Ranking.
Let's start off with why we picked the number 7 to be our ranking.
Yes.
I personally prefer, odd numbers for ranking because it gives a lovely number right in the middle to tell you, it's not the greatest, it's not the worst. Now, if you're ranking out of 10,
yeah, people say it's 5, but 5 is on the lower half of it.
You got your 5 and your 6, and you're like, well, it's in between those. It's a 5.5 kind of a game, and that's a bit annoying to me. So we decided to do an odd number of 7. So you've got that exact middle value
without there being too many options to pick from.
Yeah.
So, 1 being this game offends me that it exists. The existence offends me, basically.
Yep.
4 being a perfectly average game, and 7 being this is practically perfect. There's not much I could do to improve it.
Okay.
So, Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga on the DS is honestly pretty dang good. Like,
it's phenomenal for a DS game. I'd probably put it in that 5 and 6 quality. I do think it's got some limitations. I don't think it's hitting that 7 of a practically perfect game.
oh, absolutely not.
Yeah, I could be swayed in putting it in 5, being, it's better than average, or putting it at 6 where it's almost perfect. It's falling off, and that's where I'd put it on the game.
5 or 6?
5 or 6.
Like,
again,
which one? We need
a definitive
Yes.
answer. Alright, out of all the DS games I've played, I've probably put this at a 5.
a 5. Okay.
It's a solid, it's better than average, but there are some DS games that use the touchscreen more often that I prefer. Games that have better graphics that I enjoy playing, and games that, have a unique charm that I prefer about them. Lego Star Wars, it's a fantastic game on the DS, but again, we've hit on these points where it's a bit hard. The character models aren't the greatest. They've had to shorten a whole lot of the levels. The cutscenes don't look that great.
But
it's
a DS game. You can't expect too much for the most part. There are some phenomenal DS games, but I'd say a majority of it is just cash grab slop.
Yeah.
As much as I love the DS, but
They put so much cash grab slop on there. Like, oh yeah, buy this. Quickly, get it now.
This movie just came out. Let's make a video game tie-in with minimal effort.
Yeah, they're not all that great.
Yeah. Overall, great game, although I was kind of hating on it quite a bit. It's pretty dang solid, especially as far as like Lego games go. This is probably one of the better ones in my opinion out of what I've played. So I honestly have the exact same written down. I'd give it a 5 out of 7, which means it ultimately gets an average score of 5 out of 7.
Wow, the math on this, it's incredible.
Yes. So we'll go ahead and set aside this game and spin the wheel of destiny in order to see which game we're playing next.
Let's take a look at this. What do we have going on here?
Okay, Evan, we're going to be staying on the DS system,
Ooh.
but we've got a bit of a conundrum because this game was released in a pair of two, similar to Pokemon, but it's not Pokemon. Okay?
All right, let's hear about
So,
this. What do we
maybe
have?
you do one version, I do the other, or vice versa, or we just do both of them. They are different, for sure, like drastically different, which is very cool.
Different games?
Yes.
What do we have here?
Okay, so this game was released in 2009, so a little bit later. It's developed by Vicarious Visions.
Vicarious Visions developed it?
Vicarious Visions. And
Okay.
the genre is an action-adventure where you will be playing as a robot who can transform into a car. Based on the movie, we are going to be playing Transformers Revenge of the Fallen.
Okay.
They have an Autobots and a Decepticons version.
Alrighty.
I grew up playing Autobots, so...
You up for a change in trying Decepticons?
I've played both of them, but...
Lame.
Which would you like to play?
Let's do the Decepticons.
You'll do Decepticons?
I'll do Decepticons.
Alrighty, I'll take on Autobots yet again. Thank you all for listening, whoever that is. Probably,
The audience that somehow found our amazing podcast.
I'm sure people are scouring the internet every day for Lego Star Wars Complete Saga DS
Review.
version. But, yeah, maybe after long enough,
Somebody will find it, you
Yeah.
know?
maybe something will come out of this. Could be fun. Could be cool.
Well, guys, thank you so much for staying tuned to the Handheld Chronicles. We're excited to see you next time, where we'll be discussing Autobot. Wait, no, it's not Autobot. Transformers.
Transformers Revenge of the Fallen.
Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. We'll see you next time.